Two Republican senators are calling on former National Security Advisor Susan Rice to explain an unusual email. She sent it to herself the day that President Trump was sworn in. It was about President Obama and the Russia investigation. I'll give you the quote. President Obama began the conversation by stressing his continued commitment to ensuring that every aspect of this issue is handled by the intelligence and law enforcement communities by the book. All rise. Judge Andrew Napolitano is here, covering the president's tracks.
Sounds like it. So the conversation referred to includes the president, the vice president, Jim Comey, the director of the FBI, Sally Yates, who was then the acting attorney general. Loretta Lynch had resigned. This is the one that Donald Trump eventually fired a couple of weeks later, and Susan Rice there. And this issue they're talking about is the investigation of Russian meddling in the 2016 election. So why would she write this thing to herself 16 days after it occurred? Why would she put the phrase "by the books" in quotation marks? What would be the purpose of this unless something came to her or the president's attention between January 5, when the conversation occurred, and January 20th, when she wrote this email to herself that caused her to want to either varnish the meeting, acknowledge its existence, but put a good gloss on it? Because President Obama told Chris Wallace, our own colleague, as well as others, I never discussed any of this with law enforcement or intelligence, particularly with the FBI. The President of the United States doesn't get involved in micromanaging these investigations. Wow. That is defied by the texts we have seen from those two characters in the FBI that texted each other 55,000 times in a 2-year period, in which one of them said, this is Lisa Page and Peter Strzok, POTUS, President of the United States, wants to know all about this. The this is not Hillary Clinton. The this is the FBI investigation of the Trump campaign.
The bottom line is that President Obama's name is again being drawn into FBI, Russia, Russia, Russia.
2 years ago, sitting here, I told you that President Obama was going to be drawn in on the Hillary Clinton investigation, because if he sent emails to her containing classified materials or received emails from her containing classified materials, and he knew or ought to have known it was from her personal server, he too failed to safeguard national security secrets. We're beginning to see more and more inappropriate behavior and orchestration, if you will, of this by Barack Obama.
I've got a limited time, and I'm going to get this in. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg said about the election. Roll tape.
I think it was difficult for Hillary Clinton to get by even the macho atmosphere prevailing during that campaign. And she was criticized in a way I think no man would have been criticized.
Why is a Supreme Court justice weighing in on a political election?
I really don't know. The last time she did this, during the campaign, she said, if Donald Trump gets elected, I'm going to leave the country. She was privately admonished by two of her female colleagues on the court, saying you're demeaning the court by doing this. I suggest to you she's going to be admonished again. This is reprehensible. It's one thing for Scalia to give a talk about morality as the basis in law. It's another thing for her to start saying, oh, poor Hillary lost because Donald Trump was too macho. This is A, absurd, B, far outside the realm of a Supreme Court justice.
Done. Come back in the 11, please. Judge, thank you very much.